Hello, scrapbook friends. Welcome to Scrapland. Today, I'm going to make a title page using the whale tail recipe template. So let me talk about the key ingredients for making this whale tail recipe. Obviously, our template. I'm going to pull 2 sheets from the sun-soaked tone-on-tone packet. I'm going to pull this Island Waters color and the dark blue. I'm going to go ahead and pull 1 sheet of paper from the beach scenes, which is going to be my background paper. It's this tan with this weave, and this is the back side of that. And I'm going to make the whale tail using this beautiful Starry Night shimmer paper. This project will use the Jumbo Circle custom cutting template, the white capped waves decorative border punch, and the whale tail recipe template. So our first step is to cut a large circle with the jumbo cutting template and the blue blade. We're going to make the smallest inner circle using the blue blade. Now, if you want a little hack, I'm going to show you how I keep my template from shifting. Here's my little hack. This is Creative Memories washi tape. I think it's the only one currently available. It comes in a pack with 3 rolls on it, and this is the Passport to Adventure washi tape. Previously, Creative Memories has offered other washi tapes. This one was a wood grain that is discontinued or sold out at this point. If you want Creative Memories to keep washi tape in their inventory, send an email to cmproductsuggestions@creativememories.com. Washi tape is a low-tack, meaning not very sticky, type of tape. And because I'm cutting on the inner ring, I'm going to put some small pieces of washi tape on the outside of the template that kind of holds it in place like this. And you really only need 1 or 2 pieces, because what you're trying to keep from happening is your template shifting. I'll demonstrate. Sometimes your template will shift around even though you don't mean for it to. This washi tape will keep this template from shifting, and it will come up very easily off of your paper without damaging your paper, as long as you're gentle with it. And so now I have no fear of my template shifting, messing up my circle, and ruining my beautiful paper. So now I have the template centered on the paper, and my purpose for centering it is just in case I want to use the outside frame. I will put the outside frame away because I won't be using it for this particular project, but I may want to use it later. So I'm cutting with the blue blade, and yes, I'm using the old blades because they really are that good and still work. Okay, so I still hold on, and you can see right here, didn't cut well. I just give it another tug, and perfect, no glitches, because I used the washi tape hack. So now I have this lovely circle. I'm going to put it aside and make another one. Let me show how easy the washi tape lifts up. That easy, no marks on my paper, and this is ready for another layout. Now I have the blue paper down, and I'm going to make a duplicate circle. I have my washi still here to kind of hold my template snug. Doesn't slip too much. And once again, another blue circle cut with the blue blade. We now have our two circles. And now we're going to use our white capped waves punch on this blue paper. And we're going to use the darker end of the paper to cut a. Now we have this lovely wave border. Our next step is to cut our paper in half. Note the direction of our waves in our paper. I want the darker part at the bottom and the lighter part at the top. Now, the beautiful part about the 12-inch trimmer is that it has these notches. That notch there, that notch there. The same notches are at the bottom of the trimmer. So at the top or bottom of the trimmer, if you rest your circle in that notch, it will cut in half. So I'm resting my circle here or there. But it's not quite that simple with this particular piece of paper because I kind of want it to go pretty straight. I don't want it cut on an angle like that. I want it to be quite horizontal. So I am going to really look at my paper and slide it around until I'm pretty satisfied with the half of the paper. Now, I'm saying cut it in half. If you're not exactly in half, just try to be straight. So now we have our circle cut in half. We are going to take this top half, put it aside to be used on another layout. Take the bottom half and we're going to lay it over top of the green. And we're going to go ahead and adhere it. Because of the flow and direction of the papers, and that they were cut very similarly in position on the location, it turns out that it matches up quite well. So now we have attached the blue half circle on top of the green. Our next step will be to take our blue waves and put them on top and then cut. And now we're going to set this aside as we prepare to put it on our background paper in the upper left quadrant. So now we are getting ready to trace our whale tail. There are a couple of things to note. First, identify the element you want to trace. So here's my whale's tail. I'm going to want to trace there. The way that you can tell that the template is right side up is by reading the Creative Memories logo. However, the direction you may want your whale tail to be could be pointed up to the right, which is face down template. Face up, the tail points up to the left. The next thing that you may want to consider is if or not you want pencil marks to show. You can erase the pencil marks, but if you don't want to even risk that, we will show you how to write on the back side of this. So I'm going to demonstrate with this sheet of paper for a moment. If this is how I want my template, this being my top side, but I want to write my pencil marks on the back side of the paper, I flip it over. And then now I know that when I flip it this way, my direction will be like I want it. And so I pull the template out and just place it on the top. And now it's going in the direction, but when I flip it over and look, my tail will be going in the direction that I want it to go in. But I will trace on this side. Once again, I'll do it again. I have my top side. I put my paper like I want it. I flip the whole thing over. I slide the recipe template out and put it on the top. And then I will be ready to have my design go the way I want it to go once it is flipped over. To keep it steady, I'm going to use the multi-purpose clips. I'm going to put on the multi-purpose clips to try to keep the paper from sliding while I'm tracing. This isn't essential, but it is something that I think speeds up the process, at least for me. They come in a pack of 4, and they're very, very reasonably priced. So if you're using recipe templates, now I'm an advisor, and so when my customer purchases their first recipe template from me, I get them the clips too. They may not know they need them, but they're happy to have them. Okay, now we have our recipe template clipped to our paper. And I am using this the top side up. But I do have to make a decision. Once I know where I want to trace, I also want to know, do I want to trace the inside or the outside of this? And I'm going to trace on the inside. This. As you can see, the template shifts a bit, causing my pencil lines to stray a bit. And I'm fine with that because I will use a white eraser to erase all of the pencil lines anyway. also note, well, this requires some hand cutting, and I know that there are people out there with different reasons for not liking hand cutting. There are some solutions that you could consider, such as other styles of scissors that may be more comfortable for your hands. The pencil lines are quite light, but you can see them. So I will begin to cut our whale tail. I'm so excited. I had to go off camera to cut the whale tail because the pencil lines were so faint I needed additional lights. I still have the lights on now and you can probably see shadows. But I've decided also that I want a frame around my whale tail. So I am going to cut some white paper, and I'm going to cut the outside. Remember I made my pencil lines on the inside before? I'm about to make my pencil lines on the outside. Also note, it isn't perfect. That doesn't matter. You don't need strict perfection. I think that people think they need to make it perfect, and when they don't, they lose heart and they don't enjoy using these templates as much as they could. I'm going to cut on the back side of this paper. I'm going to flip it over, and I am using the back side of an index sheet, and I'm putting the template over. So I have used the lift and shift. I have my Creative Memories logo facing down. I'm on the back side of my paper, and this time I'm going to cut on the outside. Okay, I want to mat my whale tail, and before I cut on the inside of the whale tail lines, this time I'm going to put my pencil marks on the outside of the lines, and I'll leave the whale tail down because he's face down right now too. You'll also be able to see the lines much better on this white paper than was on the blue paper. And I just use my fingers to sort of keep the template steady so it doesn't shift too much. You can see there's some give that way. I'm staying with the outer lines. I actually copied the wrong line. This is the tail, and I drew a line here. I will erase that line. So it goes from here to there. The beauty of using pencils, and it's a good thing I'm on the back side of the paper. I don't have to even erase it. And there is my traced whale tail. And there is my incorrect white line. I will erase it. So you can see this. So hopefully with this lighting, you can see my cutting better. And once again, perfection is not really necessary. I'm going to cut a little to the outside of the line too, just to give myself a shadow that is just a pencil line's width wider. And I am not a perfect cutter with a pair of scissors. I will say that I have been cutting paper more and more in my scrapbooking career, and I'm getting better at it. So it's one of those things that you improve the more you use it. They do say move the paper more so than the scissors. So if you hold your scissors straight and move the paper is a tip that is most commonly recommended. And as I come around and I have this pretty long gap, my goal is to just cut straight until I reach the next line. Okay, the moment of truth. How did we do? How's this going to look? I'll I'll keep it. I'll keep it. It could be better, could be worse. I've decided that I am going to frame this in navy cardstock. So my next step will be to trim this beige paper down to 11.5 by 11.5. Then I'm going to take out a 10-inch center from this cardstock to save the cardstock and to keep the page from getting too heavy. But right now I'm going to go ahead and put the whale tail on its mat. Now this is not a perfect mat, and it really does not bother me that it isn't on perfectly. I just want it good enough. I want to see the shadow. I want a little trace of white all the way around. I'm using repositionable adhesive, and I put the repo mainly on the edges so I can kind of do some shifting till I get the tail about where I want. And I think that's good enough. My first cut will be to take a 1/2 inch off the side and a 1/2 inch off of the top or bottom. So here's our first 1/2 inch cut. And the second 1/2 inch cut. So I must say that the technique that I learned from Megan Jacks was to use binder clips where the white mark indicates that's my 1 inch, and I want that white mark on that 1 inch. It's hard to tell with the 1. I'm going to slide it over here to the 2. You can see better where the white mark lines up. So I'm going to come back here. When it hits against the binder clip, it's right on that 1 inch. The next thing that is very important that I messed up several times, so I'm going to share it with you, is we are always measuring from the top down. I tend to like to rest my paper on the bottom. Not when I'm doing this technique. I need to rest my paper at the top because the 1-inch marks are from the top. If you don't do that, your cuts won't align. I haven't necessarily ruined paper, but I have not gotten the results I wanted. Okay, so we're going to use the 1-inch mark on the right hand side of our trimmer notations. Align our paper at 1 inch. Push this up as far as it'll go against the binder clip. Press down hard and cut until we reach the 11-inch mark. That gives us a cut 1 inch over, 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from the bottom. Rotate 90 degrees and repeat. And let me make sure I got up there. Now we have a beautiful 10 by 10 that's going to be making a very lovely layout somewhere else. And we have this matted. And this is our layout. We added some white serif ABCs to spell out SeaWorld, and we used stickers from Sun Soaked and Beach Scenes. I can't wait to get the pictures.